So I am back from a 5-day vacation in Curacao, and let me tell you all how it went. So we actually stayed at the Corendon Hotel, which is a branch of the Hilton group of hotels, and that is in Curacao. Now, it was overall a really good experience. Some pros, some cons, and I'll go through it step by step, and we could break it down and see. And that way, you could look at it and see if maybe this is a good choice for you. First of all, with the flight, we left on a Friday and we came back on Tuesday. Overall, the flight was an hour and 20 minutes, and the clear the immigration in Curacao took us about an hour and 20 minutes. Also, it was a lot of lines, a lot of flights coming in, I suppose. So all in all, I'd say that was definitely a con. I got a lot fed up, but able to entertain himself because at least the Wi-Fi was working. So that's one pro, I suppose. When we got to the hotel, so with respect to checking in, I don't know if it's a thing with like a language barrier. Not that they can't speak English, maybe they do speak it as fluently. So they tend to not be, I found, this is my personal experience. So obviously don't come from any comments and be like, oh, how dare you. This is just my personal experience, right? I didn't find they were very helpful in the front desk, very limited with respect to what they said to us. What I could warn you about is that when you scan, there's an app, right? So when you actually scan the QR code, you could actually make your reservations for all the restaurants, because we had a lot of back and forth with respect to when we could actually book the specialty restaurants. One person saying 4 p.m., next person saying 10 a.m., and then it was a lot of back and forth and a lot of confused information that we got. So what I could say is that you could actually book all the specialty restaurants on the online app, the Corendon Hotel online app, and that should get you through a little bit better than what we did. So as I said, front desk, not the most helpful characters, but you get through, you get your tag, you go upstairs. The rooms were phenomenal. I love the room. Now, one of the big things with me and hotels is that I need the bathroom to look clean and look a certain way, and the bathrooms were perfect, up to standard, perfect drainage, no problems with water backing up, water spilling out, anything like that. The showers had good pressure, nice temperature. I had to wait a while for the hot water, but not too long. But it was good. It was overall, I would say 9.9 out of 10. I loved it. Spacious. We actually took the option with 2 beds, 2 queen size beds. Me and Rai slept on one. Mark slept on his own one because me and Rai would go to bed, I would say about 9 o'clock. Mark would stay waking longer and reading and enjoying himself. So you had internet, you had TV, and the internet worked well. What else? The AC was a split unit, so you were actually able to control the temperature, not too hot, not too cool. It was perfect overall. And they actually had like nifty little things on the outside, on the little balcony area where you could actually hang up your wet clothes. So you didn't have this issue that I find you tend to have in auto hotels, where you don't know where to hang your towels, you don't know where to hang your wet clothes, and everything ends up getting nice, nasty and musty and whatnot. So rooms, awesome. With respect to food, the food was so much food. I mean, your options, you had breakfast, lunch, dinner. In between there was snacks. There was another place that you could actually go and get like cakes and coffee and all that. Wine was just there by the bottles, chilling by the bottles, red wine, white wine. You could just take to your leisure. There was, you could actually take Coke and Sprite and drinks and all that. They had it on tap. You didn't have to go by a bar and ask for that, although there were bars all over that they could mix specialty cocktails, and you could get beers and all that there. What I would say about the food options, now for vegetarians, I feel like this might be a fairly common problem in resorts, but there's not a lot of selection for vegetarians. Obviously not as much as if you were consuming meat. The options could get a bit repetitive, the potato, the mashed potato and all that. And the other thing I would say is, especially of caution, is that especially for Hindus and Muslims, the beef and the pork, just kind of, chicken, beef, pork, veggies, it had no kind of designation and no separation, but that is to be expected in all-inclusives. I suppose their population that they would cater to is more of a European, American population versus Caribbean, Muslims and Hindus and all that. So I suppose you can't really get upset about that, but it's something to be cognizant about. Because of the way, the beef and the pork next to each other, people could always mix up utensils and end up using it. Not something I am too concerned about, to be honest, but I know that a lot of people would have a problem and have issues with that. So just cognizant about it, and those I didn't warn you. With respect to the restaurants, now there were a lot of restaurants. The main restaurant, as I said, they did a pretty damn good job of catering to like food options, and I'll be honest, I personally didn't feel the need to go to specialty restaurants because of the amount of diversity that you had in the main restaurants, but we did manage to get through to go to the barbecue. Mark thoroughly enjoyed that. I would say our appointment, we ended up getting like quite a 9 o'clock appointment, and I think by the time we got food it was about, let me say, about 10:30, so it took a while. But I was told, because I ended up going back in the bedroom in the room with Rai, I was told the chicken was phenomenal. The pork, Mark was like, whoa, the beef back ribs was amazing. So I mean, worth it, I suppose. Just try to get an early appointment. Me and my mom actually got to go to the seafood restaurant. We had to divide and conquer because Rai didn't really want to go. Not the best thing I ever eat in my life. We had salmon. You get a lot of food, and it was tasty. But is it the best thing I ever eat in my life? Not really. Like I said, the main restaurant did a phenomenal job, so that was good enough. But the views and the ambience, I suppose that's a lot of the appeal in it, right? There was a sushi restaurant, but that one wasn't one that you can make reservations for. You kind of had to go first come, first serve and line up, and I just didn't have the patience to do it, so I didn't check out the sushi restaurant. And there was an Italian restaurant either also, but again, I didn't, you had a long lines to get into those specialty restaurants, so that wasn't worth it for me. The pools. So there was one massive pool in the middle, and it was nice. It was is very well spaced out. You don't feel like it's too cluttered up with people. Then they actually have a small pool that I feel like better for kids, a lot more shallow than the main pool. And then there's a kids play area. Now this is the highlight, I would say, for most people. For us, no, Rai did not like it at all. We went in the second day, I feel, and it was a lot. All right. I went inside also. Now the thing is, the water was cold. It was loud. When you actually went on the inside, it was loud, and it was kind of overstimulating. And I think he was probably tired from spending the day at the beach and the pool, so he wasn't having it. And then there is a huge water slide, the Cobra. I went down that one once because I don't feel like my heart had it in me to do it more than once. As Mark put it, he started writing his will coming down the Cobra. He did survive, but it is on the traumatic side, I would say, but exhilarating. Like it definitely was exhilarating. Would I do it again? I don't know, maybe not, but definitely great to do one time. The beach was real nice. Mark enjoyed himself. We did a lot of snorkeling in the beach. It had a lot of fish to see. They had a little reef area. It was real good. Look on the cold side, but overall a really nice experience on the beach. Rai picked up a lot of shells. Let's just say he picked up a lot of shells. All right, what else? There's also a dry play area, so like a normal swing set and slides and all that for the kids. Now the thing is, I would compare this to my it's not like I go all inclusives often, right? So I'm not the biggest expert. What I could tell you is that compared to my experience, the other all inclusive that I went to, that was in Barbados, that was Almond Bay in Barbados, and honestly, I felt like the staff there in Barbados was so much warmer and welcoming and more accommodating. If you had any questions, you could ask pretty much anybody there. Here, I felt like you had to ask just specific people, and maybe just at the front desk, and even they weren't very, hi, good day, like, you didn't, I don't know, I just didn't get any warmth, from them. And the staff generally, I feel like it was a little bit more business-like, and, they had to do their job, and they do what they had to do, and, yeah, but overall it was a good experience. I mean, any all-inclusive and any hotel and any vacation you go on is what you make of it. So we spent 2 days out, right? Basically, well, pieces of 2 days. I shouldn't say 2 entire days out. One of the things we did that that was the highlight of the entire vacation for me, is the Sea Aquarium. Now, I love, you know, animals and fish. My dream secretly was to be a marine biologist. You know, that clearly did not work out. But we did need, you know, in there you have a lot of different fish, you have information. They actually have guided tours where they talk to you about the animals. They did feeding sessions with the the crayfish, the lobsters, and all that. Got to see the stingrays. They actually have feeding sessions with the stingrays. Also, flamingos. That was real cool to see them up close. There were sharks, feeding sessions with the sharks, and they gave you a nice informative talk about it. And the highlight of the whole thing, we got to actually spend time. We paid, I feel like it was $55, 55 US per person, me and Rai, and we spent some time. It was 15 minutes in total with a dolphin. Now in that, you had a trainer. We actually went down to the platform. You had a trainer that actually gave us a talk about, you know, dolphins and how they, you know, a little bit about the anatomy, and we get to touch the dolphin and do a little training with them. Show us how quickly the dolphins could swim. We played games with the dolphin. It was just so good. I feel like I want to grow up to be a dolphin trainer in my life. Anyway, that was amazing. We got the photos at the end of it. For that you had to pay like you get like 2 pictures, the one with the dolphin kiss included in the 55 US per person. And then if you want like all the pictures like these, we had to pay a further 40 US. Luckily, thankfully, the guy was nice because me and Rai was together. He just charged us for one person. But yeah, we paid the 40 US and I got the digital images to that. So that was nice, and I think a very worthwhile experience, especially if you have a child. There was an underwater submarine thing that you could actually go down and see all the fish, and I feel like if you have somebody who rel into fish and rel into it, and just generally the experience, even if you're not into it, because my mom definitely isn't into that kind of thing, and she was amazed, right? So that was pretty awesome. The other thing we did is we went into Willemstad. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. We took a walk around and we got to see the bridge actually opening and closing for the boats to pass. The town is so beautiful and colorful, hot like hell, but it was real pretty. So many photo opportunities, but we had a good time. Got back to the hotel in time for lunch, thankfully, so that was good. But overall, I would say definitely a worthwhile vacation. I still rank us going to Barbados higher than that, just because of the ambience and all that in Barbados. Something about Barbados I'd enjoyed more, but this is definitely a worthwhile experience. So check it out. I don't know if you ever went to Curaçao, and by the way, what other vacations would you all recommend for us to go on? So thanks for watching, and yeah, be sure to like and subscribe. Laters.